On this episode, we have a very special guest, Mr. Andrew Morello, winner of the First Apprentice Australia, Head of Business Development for Yellow Brick Road, Living the Dream slogan,
Always.
speaker auctioneer,
Yes,
recently climbed a mountain,
I did.
and a very good friend of mine.
Fantastic friend.
Thanks for being on the show today.
Fantastic. Thanks for having me down in Melbourne. It's beautiful.
It's-
Back in my home city.
It's not as cold as what I thought it would be,
No,
but
it's been a beautiful day, actually.
so the Inside the Mind series of
Yep.
Morello, what we want to do is give the audience an opportunity to understand how to think,
Yep.
how to understand how to have an edge in today's very competitive market.
Yes.
So I want to start with a few questions, if it's all right.
Great.
The first one, tell us about you, who you are, and what you do.
Look, Jacob, it's funny telling you the story because I think you've heard it 1,000 times, but I still consider myself as the simple boy from Moonee Ponds, and doing this in Melbourne is kind of ironic because, as you know, I live in Sydney now in Bondi, but you never lose the humility and the things that I learned from literally the back streets of Moonee Ponds and pumping petrol at my dad's service station. So those core vision, mission, and values that were installed in me as a young boy is what I installed into my businesses. And then what I try and practice in my life as well, that humility, understanding, empathy, and certainly giving everyone an opportunity.
Beautiful values. And this is probably an important question that I'd love you to share with the audience.
Yep.
How do you define success? What does success mean to you?
Look, I often, when I'm speaking at different conferences around the world, last year I spoke in 19 countries, this year 7 countries already, and I often finish my presentations with what I call Morello's 30-second answer at 3 a.m. And what that means is that if someone put a gun to your head at 3 o'clock in the morning, you have to answer, why do you deserve to live, or why are you doing what you do? And if the answer isn't convincing enough, they're going to pull the trigger. So often what I do, and my version of success, or my, embodiment of success, for me personally, and for everybody it's different, is to make lots and lots of money, to pay other people really, really well, to do things that I don't want to do, so I can do more things I love doing with the people that I love.
What great advice.
Yeah,
What great
my father
advice.
worked 27 years, 7 days a week, and as much as he taught us great work ethic, certainly, he probably wasn't as available as a father should be these days.
Yeah.
He's a great man, and my parents have been absolutely, given us unconditional love. But I really want to be there for my children. So the day I'm married and the day I have kids, I know that all the hard work to pay other people really, really well to do things I don't want to do, so I can do more things I love doing with the people I love, is all going to pay off.
That's fantastic. Really, really good. Look, the importance of mentoring and coaching.
Yeah.
Talk to us about your coaches along the way. Talk about what you believe in mentors, and I guess how what you and I do, even on stage, is important for people.
Yeah, well, to sort of name a few, that's why I always enjoy having a catch up with people like yourself and people that are pushing themselves to the next level. And I know some of the other people we've interviewed today, like Sam and I know the guys from Advantage and so forth, and Frank Valentic and his team. They are top performers, and I love to surround myself with them. So any chance I get to spend with people like yourself, Jacob, and also Mark Burris, I see on a daily basis, and Jerry Harvey, I try and catch up with every couple of months, and John McGrath. So I surround myself with these caliber people, one, to remember to stay humble, so it doesn't matter how good things get, you always know there's something more to strive for, but more importantly, to be able to absorb some of that energy that you emit, that I think I emit, and certainly those people emit at that caliber.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, stress.
Yeah.
Gets thrown around the boardrooms a lot today, as you know.
Of course.
You have the privilege of working with a lot of business owners that own Yellow Brick Road franchises.
Yes.
They get very stressed.
Of course.
You get stressed. I heard you called something like 154 flights last year.
Yep, 153, yeah.
How do you manage stress, and what is stress to you, and how do you use stress to accelerate your life?
Yeah. I probably, to anyone watching this, would probably want to give them a concept which I call pressure is a privilege. If you feel pressure, it means you're in the advantageous position to change the fate of your life and the people around you's life. So first of all, if you go into stress and pressure with that mindset that it is a privilege and you do have a chance to change people's lives, then I think, all of a sudden it starts to lift that weight off the shoulders. The second part I probably will answer that is that, put it all into perspective.
Yeah.
I do a lot of, I'm off to Cambodia in October to run an entrepreneur program over there for the Sunshine Orphanages with Geraldine Cox, a Water of Australia medal winner. I was in Krakow in Poland last year, walking through the gas chambers of Auschwitz, where 11.4 million people were murdered. So what I do is whenever that stress comes about, I remember two things. One, that pressure is a privilege. And two, that no matter how bad my day is getting, there's millions of people, if not billions of people in the world that are having a lot worse a day today.
Wow, well said. So I know your schedule.
Yeah.
I know how hard it is to get you.
Yeah. Sorry, mate.
Tell us, how do you manage your day? How do you fit? I see what you do. We see what you do, and we're very proud of you.
Yes, thank you.
How do you do it? What advice would you give people to say? People that say I don't have enough time. I just say, have you seen what Andrew Morello does? Yeah. How do you do it? Yeah,
well, look, none of us are perfect, and certainly there's aspects of my life, and you mentioned earlier, I've just climbed a mountain, Mount Kinabalu in Borneo, 4,095 metres above sea level, looking to do Kokoda at some point as well. So certainly I probably have not prioritised my health, which is something that I've just started to do, which has been a really exciting journey for me. But two things I probably recommend to people is, one, find really, really good people that you can surround yourself with. Probably a few tips actually. Number two is let go of the outcome. So what happens is people bring on good staff and they make a couple of mistakes and they fire them.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, that's probably not the best answer. Like, find people that you can mold and grow with, because what you're actually doing by letting them go that early is all that time, money, energy and effort that you've put into them is literally going to waste. So let go of the outcome. They are going to make mistakes and you can't control everything. Probably the last bit of advice that I'll give people is the fact that find out what your HBU is. So I've come from a real estate world, and HBU is a term for valuers, which is what is your highest and best use. Andrew Morello's highest and best use is interacting with the audience, interacting with individuals, high performance individuals, and help them to grow certain businesses, whether it's Yellow Brick Road, Bellagio & Co, Jutlas Craig Real Estate, whatever it might be. So what I do is I fill my day up with things that I thoroughly enjoy. Speaking, auctioneering, coaching people, mentoring, business development. So what I'm doing is I'm staying away from things I don't enjoy so I can work at a high performance level.
That's great. What great advice. The next question is really important to me. I know you know. But I think out there in the market today, something that we need to get out is the power of the mind.
Yes.
Visualizations.
Yep.
You've recently climbed a mountain. You're back into training.
Yep.
Talk to us. Do you visualize? Do you believe in visualizations? How do you do it? Talk to us about your mind around the visuals.
Yeah, this is something I know you're very passionate about, and we've had lots of conversations. Whether you do it formally as a visualization session or whether it's something informal, I'm doing it constantly on a daily basis. Whenever I'm engaging into a new opportunity or a new strategic partnership, I'm visualizing what are the capabilities and opportunities out of that. I don't think you need to do it at necessarily a massive level. I think just starting to bring it into your life, as part of your daily ritual will give you a lot of benefit, and certainly you'll grow from there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how do you stay motivated? Like at the end of the day, you've got so much on, you're extremely successful. How do you stay motivated to keep going?
Look, the motivation often is based around, what am I trying to achieve for the day? What am I trying to achieve for the week, the year? Who am I trying to help as well? So one of the biggest motivations that keep me going is that, if I stop tomorrow, there's a lot of people that will be affected by that. So that's a really good way to keep yourself accountable and keep you moving on. But certainly, look, from my point of view, that shouldn't be the only thing. It's the fact that I've come from an amazing family, and all these people in the world have really tried hard to help me be successful.
Yes.
And I feel like I want to give something back to the world. I feel like I can contribute and change the world. And look, for you, your world might just be your family. Your world might be just your workplace. Your world might just be your community centre or your football club. Whatever it is, you should look to change the world and make it a positive place.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So, goals.
Yep.
Do you set goals? And if so, how often?
Look, I'm in the business of goals. So, I've signed now with myself and my team as of today, 259 Yellow Brick Roads nationally.
Wow. Over
the last 6 years was when I first met you. I think there was like 5 when I first met you.
Yes.
And so I'm always building goals personally, building goals within our business. And those goals shouldn't only be monetarily. So one of the biggest problems I find is when I get people to set goals before I come and do some work with them, I get there and it's all about how much money they're going to make, how much commission they're going to write, how much business they're going to do. And I say, well, look, if your goals have only got money around them, you're going to be heavily disappointed. Because what happens is, and I see it all the time, people set monetary goals, they achieve them, and they're very empty goals. So what I tell you to do is find what you want to use the money for. If it's to change the world, if it's to set up an orphanage in Cambodia, if it's to take your family to Disneyland because your father worked 7 days a week for 30 years, well, that's what the goal should be.
Yeah.
And make sure you put the emotional side behind it.
Fantastic. And great advice for everyone watching as well, Andrew. That's great. Andrew, why do you do what you do?
Look, that 30-second answer at 3 a.m. that I mentioned previously, which is that why you for me is really important, that that I want to make a lot of money to pay other people really, really well to do the things I don't want to do, so I can do more things I love doing with the people that I love, is definitely my why you.
Yep.
But certainly on a daily basis, I get an enormous amount of pleasure out of helping people achieve great things. So, 5 years ago, when you first met me 5-6 years ago now, there was probably a massive amount of immaturity there that I wanted to have the world revolve around Andrew Morello. And that's what most 23, 24, 25-year-olds all about. There's nothing wrong with that. And if that's that why that got me to achieve the things that I did, then great. But now I get a lot more fulfillment in my life, and certainly in my business life, my personal life, and most of all my spiritual life, by actually helping people achieve great things. And that's a beautiful why for me.
That's a great why. Very touching. I felt that.
Thank you.
I really did. What do you feel separates a champion from an average performer?
It's an interesting story because interesting question, because I didn't do any pre-work pre this interview, but your team did send me some of the questions you would ask, and I love the word you chose there, the champion, because I don't think a champion necessarily has to be the winner. I think a champion, in my definition of a champion, is someone who is giving it 110% all the time. So there's an author, Don Miguel Ruiz.
Yeah, the Fifth Agreement.
Yeah, the Fifth Agreement, or the initial one, the 4 agreements. And Don Miguel Ruiz, one of the 4th agreement, and I won't give you all of them, I'll let you Google them at home, but the 4th agreement is that you always do your best. And it's the concept that, I know some of the coaches in the NFL have done the same, your perfect effort. It's not your perfect result. It's not your personal best. It is your personal and best effort. That's what they're looking for. If you can constantly do that on a daily basis, I believe that's what makes you a champion. So you don't need to be the richest guy in the room. You don't need to be the fastest runner on the track. You don't need to be the fittest guy on the footy field. What you need to be is a champion for other people.
Absolutely.
And that's what I think, overcomes mediocrity. That's what overcomes being average. And my opinion is that if you want to be a champion, then you need to go out there and give it 110% all the time.
And you're a true champion.
Thank you very much,
You really
Jacob.
are.
Likewise.
Last question.
Yes.
And I'll let you go.
No worries.
What would you give our audience?
Yep.
What advice would you give for them to live limitless?
Wow, that's a beautiful question again. A limitless life, to me, probably encompasses a few principles, and hopefully this isn't too spiritual for you at home or wherever you're watching this at your workplace. But probably number one is embrace the uncertainty of life. I think any top performer like Jacob or any of the other people that have been interviewed in this series, top performers are always embracing that uncertainty, and they thrive off it. They take that uncertainty, that pressure of uncertainty, and turn it into a privilege. The second thing I would say is some of the advice that I gave you throughout the interview, which is let go of the outcome. I think we live in this world now where we're so fixated on the result that we forget to enjoy the journey. So certainly, make sure you don't forget to do that as well. And the last thing that I'll tell you is practice present moment awareness. Whether it's you're doing an interview, whether you're calling an auction, whether you're literally talking to your children at home, or whether you're spending time with family or friends, whatever it may be, practice that present moment awareness, because in the world that we live in now, with social media, telephones, mobiles, email, Skype, all these things, we forget to actually be in the moment, embrace that uncertainty, and make the most of all those opportunities.
Well said.
Beautiful.
Andrew, thank you so much for being in this series called Inside the Mind of.
My pleasure.
I know your wisdom will help everybody watching this series.
Beautiful.
I know your journey going is just going to be amazing as well.
Yeah.
I look forward to many more of these with you and talking on stage with you around the world.
Beautiful.
Thanks very much.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.